Hey guys, uh, last time I talked to you was about a month ago. Um, I guess I just finished tearing it down, and I kind of put it outside, and I let you see just how dirty it was. That was after I pressure washed it. I had sprayed some of the soap on it. Got this at Walmart. Um, Must be biodegradable degreaser and really soapy stuff. It seemed to work pretty good. Um, but I scrubbed the frame real good. Let me show you the frame. Anyway, got it as clean as I could, I used a red Scotch-Brite and just scrubbed it for about an hour. That was after I pressure washed it. I mean, pressure washing doesn't, it gets the dirt and stuff off the big chunks, but it really doesn't get any of the down to the nitty gritty. And obviously this isn't perfect, but it's way better than it was. And the whole idea behind this rebuild, is to, just really clean it up and kind of go through it. I'd never had it torn down before. So this is my attempt at, you got to keep in mind, I spent the last 2 years kind of piecing it back together. There was a lot of little things wrong with it, all kinds of little things, and I spent quite a bit of money already on it. This go around is basically to kind of bring it back into looking really nice. Up until now, all the plastics were really bad. Here's an example. The plastics were really scratched up. I know it's a dirt bike, and I get that, but I don't know. I don't ride the enduro, so I don't beat the crap out of my bikes. I go out, I ride them on the dirt, mainly forest roads, and some of these guys that do the enduro races, you know what I'm talking about. They're just beating the shit out of them all day long and flogging them wet. That's not what I do. Anyway, let me show you some of the things I've been working on. In my last video, I had the front end off, but it's all, I've taken it all off, and I've put it all back on now. Except you see here, I left this off. Here's the other one, and I don't know if you can tell. They look pretty much the same. Well, see the one on the left there, the one that's on the bike, that's nice and clean and black. So I got some of this stuff, this McGuire's Ultimate Black, and you got to kind of go over everything that's plastic on it. It really brings it back to, looking good and looking new. So anyhow, something else I've done is I painted a lot of the, I painted the lower stanchions on this. I would have been a lot further along. The last time I painted them, I took them outside, and it was right about 52 degrees outside. The humidity was right down around 50%. But as I was painting them late in the day, it was getting colder and colder, and I had put like 2 coats on, and I was just putting the last coat on, and it had gotten quite a bit colder, and the humidity had gone up a lot. Anyway, I'm putting that last coat on, and the paint just wrinkled right before my eyes. It's like, oh, anyway, that let all the wind out of my sails at the time, and I hadn't and then Christmas came, and all the family and everything. we got through the New Year's, and I don't want to get into it, but we had some personal family tragedy strike us. It was pretty bad. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just now, this is January 12th, and I'm just now getting back at it. And so anyway, on my first video, I think I got into talking about the exhaust, and I was cleaning it up, and I was sanding it with some wet sandpaper. I don't know if you recall what it looked like, but it was pretty dirty and pretty rusty. Obviously, these are all like rock, little dents and dings from the rocks and stuff. But I finished this off with 5,000 grit. If I went over and over and over, I could probably do better. But I can tell you something. You're looking at 13 hours of labor. And I'm not exaggerating. That was 13 hours of wet sanding. It looks nice. Way better than it did. But to some of you young guys, if your boss is always harping on you to come in and work overtime, I think you'd be better off going and working the overtime and just buying a brand new pipe. That's a $250 pipe. It doesn't take too much overtime, and it would pay for it. And you'd make your boss happy too, and you get a brand new pipe out of it, and plus you'd have a spare. So anyway, but I'm retired. I don't have an income right now. I'm waiting until I turn 62. So I got a few years before I can start even collecting any of that. So for now, I'm living off my savings. And, well, there you have it. Let me show you the muffler. You can see the muffler there. That was using Rust-Oleum, 2000 degree. That's flat black. I primed it with it was a Rust-Oleum 2000 degree primer, and then flat black, same thing. You can see it's kind of in its paint booth there. The cardboard, that was just to kind of protect from spraying it all over the place. And this was my humidity and temperature control. My daughter got me a weather station, and it tells you what humidity it is outdoors. And so I put the outdoor sensor out here, and I made sure this time when I painted it, it was well below 50% humidity, and the temperature, I think I painted it was about 67 degrees, and that at 67 degrees was maintained all night. So I've painted that, and I painted, the stanchions there. Painted the kickstand, and a few other pieces. Everything in this box is all clean and ready to go back on. I got some of the stuff laying around that still has to be cleaned up, but as I go to install them, I think I'll clean them up. Those brake calipers are really dirty, but I'm not putting new brakes on it. So anyhow, for now, I think I'm going to get that swing arm back on. I got to grease up those bearings. These got to get in there. I got to grease that all back up, and as I go, I'll keep putting it together. And for now, that's about it. Sorry about that second video. I just wanted to show you what it looked like right before I started putting it back together. And I know it's been a while. I really don't care if you subscribe, but if you want to watch it, go ahead and subscribe. I'm not doing this for subscribers. I'm just kind of doing it for fun. A lot of the guys on XR Riders, what is it? XR650R Riders on the Facebook page. If they get a hold of this, those are really the ones I even care about. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not trying to make a living off of this. So if you want to subscribe, that's fine. If you want to comment, be nice. I'm not an expert at this. I'm just having fun. If you got some, keep the negativity down. I get bummed up. I get bummed out enough as it is. Again, I'm just doing this for fun. If you got some good advice, let me know. I'm always open to advice.